The last census of India in 2011 estimated that 2.21% of our population are people with disability. It is likely that the real numbers on the ground are much higher. What prevents many of these people with disability (PWD) from leading a comfortable and useful life is barriers, lack of access, a lack of aids that could help them overcome their impairment and live a life reaching their full potential. Assistive devices that could help people move, hear better, work better, can play a huge role in our country. It is a huge market estimated at about 4,500 crore rupees. However, it is largely untapped. In India, the awareness levels about various assistive technology available for people with disability continues to be low. What are the new innovations that are available today? Has science come up with different assistive devices that can push this large community on the path to self-reliance? India has more than 500,000 amputees. The highest rate of amputation occurs in rural settings, where the main employment is in agriculture and construction. Prosthetic or artificial limbs can make a huge difference to the quality of life of all these people. However, good quality prosthetics are typically imported and are very expensive, often costing more than 6 times the average monthly income of a rural Indian family. In 1968, Ram Chandra Sharma, a craftsman who saw how these amputees were struggling with these expensive and badly fitted imports, collaborated with Dr. P.K. Sethi, Dr. Subhash Kasliwal and Dr. Mahesh Adawat and came up with the Jaipur foot in 1968. Unlike most prosthetics at the time, which were made of carbon fiber, the Jaipur foot was created using rubber, plastic and wood. This reduced their cost substantially. It also made it more flexible as well, as the wearer didn't need shoes. This worked in India, where many people go barefoot. It also allowed people to squat, sit cross-legged and work on uneven land. Unlike Western prosthetics, this model actually looks like the normal human foot. In the Jaipur foot as it now exists, the fixing rod runs through an ankle which is made of blocks of wood. The rod rests on a heel made of sponge rubber, which is enclosed in hard rubber so as to prevent wear and tear. The front portion, as also the toes, are again made of sponge rubber. These components are bound together with a rayon cord to give added strength, and the entire foot is covered with vulcanized hard rubber 2 mm thick, which is flesh colored. Today, the Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti (BMVSS), a Jaipur-based NGO set up in 1975 by Dr. D.R. Mehta, is producing this game-changing prosthetic. For nearly 46 years, this organization has worked at changing lives with their products.
Just think of an amputee who lost his limb. He not only lost his limb, he can't work now. He lost his livelihood. Now, if you provide him a limb which is such that which makes him normal, he can go and work in his field, factory, shop. He is again having the same status as he had earlier.
BMVSS is credited with helping close to 2 million people with disability. Today, the product has reached more than 35 countries outside India. Manufacturing a Jaipur foot cost approximately 4,500 rupees, which is only about $70. What has defined the BMVSS model is that these prosthetics have been always given free of charge. Is the Jaipur foot custom made for each person? Let us track what happens to a patient in BMVSS to understand the process. Once a patient enters the system, details of their disability is noted. A technician is allotted to take their detailed measurements. The technician covers the affected area in a plastic wrap on which markings are made. This is then covered in plaster, which after drying is taken off to be used as a cast. The cast is filled with plaster of Paris and acts as a mold for the prosthetic limb. The plaster and the plastic wrap are cut off after the plaster of Paris dries off. The dummy prosthetic is then scaled for the accurate measurements and filling of the prosthetic. The technicians use rubber compound and microcellular rubber to wrap around the dummy prosthetic. It is then altered, cut to shape and vulcanized in an oven at 180 degrees Celsius. This is then joined with the shoe that is made to size as per the patient's fitting. Then the foot is tried on the patient. He or she is made to wear a sock and a rubber sheet which acts as a cushion. Once the Jaipur foot is on, the patient can adjust the fitting using a belt. The patients are then instructed on how to walk on steep surfaces and stairs.
I lost both my legs in 1977. Then I came here and got Jaipur foot. Then I was able to walk freely. I have got a job here as well, and I am living independently since then.
The team continues to improvise on the product. Today the footpiece and the socket are no longer made of aluminium, but are cast out of high-density polyethylene pipes, a feature that gives the prosthetic durability and strength against excessive force.
Earlier it was made of aluminum, we changed that. We started using high-density polyethylene pipes. It was so strong, you pass a truck over it, it won't break, and it still acquires the same shape. So science and technology is very, very critical in ensuring independence, economic independence, and Indian innovation suited to the Indian conditions.
BMVSS has also developed other prosthetics like the Jaipur knee, which is a joint venture of Stanford University and Jaipur foot. This invention, which costs just $20 as compared to a knee replacement which could cost thousands of dollars, was hailed as one of the 50 best inventions in 2009 by Time magazine. They are also working on an artificial hand. The organization has opened up more than 20 centers across India so that patients don't have to travel much to receive service. Persons from about 600 districts out of 732 districts of India come to Jaipur Foot annually, powered by leadership, passion and the vision of dignity and mobility through technology. BMVSS has changed lives of millions of persons with disability in India and the world over. The UN Convention on the Rights with People with Disability recognizes that disability arises when someone with an impairment, like an amputee, interact with barriers in the environment. The right aid can help reduce the barrier and by doing this, reduce the impairment. We have seen how the Jaipur foot changes the ability of the person wearing it. After the break, we explore a story of the visually impaired and a special laptop that is Braille enabled. Keep watching to find out more. India Science Channel was launched in the year 2019 by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. The internet-based dedicated science web channel is being implemented and managed by Vigyan Prasar, committed towards science communication. The channel features science documentaries, discussions on current topics, interviews and different programs covering the entire landscape of science and technology to make science popular among the masses.
India Science is a flagship project of Vigyan Prasar, and over an year and a half we have produced more than 1,200 videos of different sizes, lengths, and are from different genre and for different domains for the people of the country. We've taken, we have spoken, we've gotten, we've dived deep into the realms of different domains of science and technology, and we have gotten news, stories, films, videos in almost every format that you can think of. OTT, for that matter, is a great platform that helps anybody to look for any news, any item, any video, any documentary at any point in time. All you need to do is to subscribe a channel for it.
One can also download India Science mobile app from Google Play Store or Apple Store to view this channel. India is home to a third of the world's blind population. Nearly 12 million people have some form of visual impairment. Education and employment become a challenge for many of these people, not just because of loss of vision, but also due to restricted social, educational, and financial mobility. Technology is a great way to bridge this gap. With the onset of computers and the internet, the visually impaired have access to so much information which was earlier difficult to access. But how will a visually impaired person access a computer? They will need screen readers, magnified text, braille displays and audio feedback to be able to negotiate these systems. Were these kind of systems available in India? Were they indigenously made? Were they affordable? A team at IIT Delhi spent more than 5 years researching and working on a laptop for the visually impaired, which was finally launched in February 2019. This was done in partnership with Kritikal Solutions Private Limited, Phoenix Medical System and Saksham. The product, the first of its kind in India, is called the DotBook 40Q. Instead of a screen, the laptop displays embossed text in braille through a touchpad. The laptop has a QWERTY keypad and 40 refreshable braille cells where the user can run their fingers across the braille pattern.
Earlier, for a visually impaired person or visually impaired student, there were two ways to access the content. One was either he can print everything on paper and read it in braille, other was he can use audio. So for a deafblind user, audio is not possible. So he has to either print everything in braille, otherwise he will not able to access any content. So it opens a complete digital scenario for a deafblind user. He can now access internet, which he was never able to do.
Now, how does the refreshable braille cell technology work? A refreshable braille display is a piece of hardware that provides braille output from your computer. They are called refreshable because they change or refresh according to the part of the screen where the cursor is at. The screen reader drives the braille display. Screen reader as a software gathers the content on the screen from the operating system, converts it into braille characters and sends it to the refreshable cells.
These are dots pins which pop up and down and make the braille dots. And you have to understand the complexity of it because the movement is only 1 mm. Actually around 0.9 mm is the movement, and it has to be accurate to plus minus 0.1 mm, because if it is this, if the displacement is more than that or less than that, the reading speed comes down considerably because they can sense the difference of height of 0.1, the tactile sensation as such.
DotBook 40Q is built on a special shape memory alloy technology. This technology has helped bring this cost down by almost 60%, making this device much more accessible.
that's the great part of this device, and that is why we have been able to build this technology in India at such an affordable prices. You can say almost 90 to 93% of the components which are going into in manufacturing of the dot book on the price benchmarking with respect to price is indigenous. We are also planning to take this product globally because there is a huge potential for this kind of device across the world. So this is kind of make in India product but made for the world.
Let us look at the DotBook 40Q in a bit more detail. 40 stands for 40 braille cells and Q for QWERTY keyboard. One side of the laptop has an external SD card slot that allows the user to access files from additional storage. Alongside this, there is also a micro USB slot. On the other side, there are two more USB slots and an audio jack for earphones. On the rear side, there is a power button and charging point. Once the device is charged, it can run up to 8 hours. The front side of the DotBook comes with navigation buttons. It helps the user to move back and forth a line on a page. These also help the user navigate between pages. The last two buttons on the braille panel represent a cursor and work as a mouse to move the cursor between words and characters.
Apart from braille cells, we have used controllers, PCBs, keyboard, the outer mold which we have designed and developed and manufactured in India. So these are the key major components which goes into manufacturing of the DotBook.
In addition to the braille display that helps the visually impaired person read books, DotBook 40Q comes with features that can be found in any graphic interface laptop. File manager to access all the files on the computer, notepad and word processor to read, edit text and doc files, web browser for accessing the internet, email and ebook manager. What defines this product is an understanding of the end user. The product was constantly tested and feedback from the end user was incorporated.
This device actually is bridging that whole gap. It is allowing a person to read and write in braille and simultaneously also able to convert all that material into a mainstream script also. That's why this device actually becomes a very, very good handy device and very provides maximum level of comfort for a person with blindness to be able to have a written communication with the rest of the world for opening.
The route because in this space the innovation has to have a partnership between the scientists or the technologists and the users, because typically we ourselves do not have the disability, so we cannot always foresee what are the challenges which a blind person faces. So it's important that we actually engage with them, understand their needs and then use our own expertise, technological expertise to translate.
This kind of product shows how science can provide a level of social inclusion for the visually impaired. Its affordability makes it accessible and its features make this community a little more self-reliant. After the break, a technological innovation that can help people with special needs communicate better. India Science Channel was launched in the year 2019 by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. The internet-based dedicated science web channel is being implemented and managed by Vigyan Prasar, committed towards science communication. The channel features science documentaries, discussions on current topics, interviews and different programs covering the entire landscape of science and technology to make science popular among the masses.
India Science is a flagship project of Vigyan Prasar. And over an year and a half, we have produced more than 1,200 videos of different sizes, lengths, and are from different genre and for different domains for the people of the country. We've taken, we've spoken, we've gotten, we've dived deep into the realms of different domains of science and technology, and we have gotten news, stories, films, videos in almost every format that you can think of. OTT, for that matter, is a great platform that helps anybody to look for any news, any item, any video, any documentary at any point in time. All you need to do is to subscribe a channel for it.
One can also download India Science mobile app from Google Play Store or Apple Store to view this channel. In a world where communication is so important, what happens to those with conditions that lead to some verbal impairment? Children with conditions like cerebral palsy and autism often have problems with speech and language. 1 in 70 children in India have autism. 1 in about 8 children have some sort of neurological condition. Many of these children struggle to verbalize their needs.
A lot of times people wait for the child's speech to develop, and while that waiting is happening, you miss out on the child's development itself, overall development itself. Because the child is not able to communicate by their speech, they miss out on interacting with their friends, their peers, miss out on education.
The realization of this need pushed Ajit Narayanan and the team of Awaaz at Chennai to come up with a communication solution for people with disability. The group of engineers, along with members of NGO Vidya Sagar, put together this AAC, or Augmentative and Alternative Communication App, in 2009. This term refers to all communication other than natural speech. This includes methods that supplement and substitute the natural speech and language of individuals. For people with communication challenges and comprehension difficulties, AAC devices are a way to express their feelings, opinions, needs and wants. Up until a few years ago, only low-tech solutions were available for people with communication deficits in India. However, with high-tech AAC systems, the possibilities are truly endless.
They were depending on low-tech picture boards, exchanging pictures, or they would depend on sign language, or they had to import really expensive devices from the US. So all these were the current solutions available 10 years back. As product designers, we were really curious as to how we could bring in an innovative solution that could not only help them communicate, but also, more importantly, be contextualized for the Indian environment and the Indian culture itself.
Awaaz is customized to work in 6 Indian languages. It has tailored vocabulary and customized functions to make it relevant to beneficiaries in India by the inclusion of items like food, festivals, currency, etc. It also works in an Indian accent.
स्वाद बहुत अच्छा है.
Let's see how Awaaz works. Awaaz is a picture and text-based communication system. When the user selects a picture, the software speaks it out. In the picture mode, there are numerous folders. Folder 1 for quick day-to-day communication. Folder 2 is a simple yes or no option. Then there are different levels of vocabulary organized on the stages of language development. Folder 3 is getting started with single word or 2-word phrases like want, more biscuit. Folder 4 is basic. This has about 200 words used to weave a longer sentence. For example, I want ball. Folder 5 is advanced. This has about 4,000 to 5,000 words and helps to weave longer sentences. For example, I want to drink more milk. There is a core word category, which are commonly used, constituting more than 90% of words used in our day-to-day communication. When the user taps on the icon, there is an audio and visual reinforcement and the image zooms in. This is a multi-level reinforcement that the user gets and which is crucial for children with autism as it helps them learn quicker. The keyboard mode is available in two forms, QWERTY and ABC, and can be changed as per the user's preference in the settings section. All the prompts come in both textual and graphic to help the user to grasp quickly. Another interesting feature is that if the user types any word, they are prompted with the next set of connecting words that help them to easily weave a sentence. Lastly, there is a collection of quick response words like yes, no, thank you on the top of the keyboard, which allows the user to respond to a question without interrupting what they are writing.
As he is communicating, so we share a better bond with each other. I can understand what is going inside him. He can express his feelings, emotions, so people can understand him in a better way. So it is he feels more accepted and more the part of society. So it has increased his self-esteem a lot.
AAC-empowered Awaaz app helps children and adults with complex communication needs to express themselves and learn. Through the use of pictures, text, visual and audio reinforcement, the app facilitates the expression of thoughts. This increases confidence in the persons with disability and helps them integrate better.
When a parent shared how her child went to an eye clinic for an eye test, and they were testing the child's vision, and the entire interaction at the eye clinic was done through Awaaz. Now, this is a classic case where the optician was also sensitized as to how to interact with people with autism, but the child had that confidence and the self-belief that they could use Awaaz to communicate what in this kind of a very public environment itself.
Awaaz's impact in the communication disability sector reinforces that technology is a great enabler. Over 75,000 people in more than 50 countries are using Awaaz's app. Apps like this also support the government's Atmanirbhar Bharat vision by building products and services ground up that cater not only to the Indian audience first, but also come out as solutions to the local problems. This shows that science can build self-sufficiency and find a way to create a world that is more inclusive.